Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. Well, welcome everybody to Meaningful Mondays. You know, it's always a great day in Middlesex County, no matter what day of the week, but Mondays are particularly wonderful, especially when we have people like Peter Tick, who is the chief of the Middlefield Volunteer Fire Company. And, you know, we have a saying around here, Pete, first of all, welcome, but we have a saying around here at the Community Foundation, hug your firefighter, because you never know when you're going to need them. So we are so honored to have you here and to also say thank you for what you and your team do.
It's an absolute pleasure always to speak with you, Cynthia. As you well know, you are one of our best supporters, and the foundation is one of our best supporters ever.
We try.
Really positive things to help out and do, and we appreciate everything that you do also.
Well, thank you.
And for everybody else, because it is a welcome need for everybody.
Well, you're very kind, but we want to shine the spotlight on you and your team. So let's take a step back. Let's go back in history. So have you always been a firefighter?
No, I've been in the fire company about 30 years, served in various positions here, and somehow got talked into being chief, or elected chief.
They have to select you, Pete. You're so good.
I was going to do it for 1 year as a interim, and now it's going on, I believe, 16 years later.
Oh my gosh.
Still doing it. Trying to do my best, without a doubt, to try to move forward with everything here. Difficult job. Obviously, volunteer is a volunteer, 100%. There's no compensation for this job. Sometimes it's aggravating days, but overall, a lot of it is positive. I have a very, very good support staff here, as well as officers, as well as people. And you're only as good as the people under you. And I consider that I have some of the best here.
Well, that's well said, Pete, but also people are following you. So that says something about a good leader right there. So don't shortchange yourself. So how many people are in the company?
Today we have about 38 people, 38 volunteers. We do have a maximum at 50. We haven't hit that in quite some time. Our membership varies. Volunteerism as a whole, I don't want to say is down, but it's a struggle. We put a lot of effort into making volunteerism here a great thing to do. It is not for everybody. It's can be tough on people, and do things that, we're asking them to do an awful lot for, for being a volunteer. This isn't like, joining some sort of fraternal organization, although there are times that we do play that part. We are an organization, and but most of all, we're a family. That kind of sums it up.
You are a family, and I've had the pleasure of being with your entire team a couple of times, and I'm always amazed that not only are they a team and a family, but there are multiple family members, almost like a succession plan as part of your team.
Well, that's quite true. Both of my sons play an active part and have leadership roles in this department, which I'm very proud of. Sometimes that's the vein of our dinner conversation, at least for my wife and their wives. It does have its drawbacks at family events when everybody gets up from the table and has to leave for something. But again, it is family, and like I say, I'm very proud to have them both involved. And they are both in leadership roles here, which is kind of unusual. They take it probably as serious as I do, maybe more. Their efforts are, go above and beyond. And I think I don't want to call it a family tradition, but it just turned out that way.
If we look at the profile of your entire team, and I think about you had a career before being fire chief, so you were a supervisor for the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Is there a general profile of your membership other than love of community?
I don't think there's a common stereotype. We take people from all walks of life that may or may not, have an interest in serving. There we have people that have been here for going on over 55 years, and we have people that have been here for 6 months. There's a lot of mentorship in this department, and I think the overall word that can best describe this whole unit is pride. People have pride in what we do, how we do it, and why we do it, which is a good thing, because that's something that not everybody has, and that leads to drive, and drive is what we run on, really. You can't be, this can't be something like something that just you could fit it in when you want to fit it in. Obviously, you never know when we're going to have a call, what the call is going to be, or what are you going to need for people to make a solution. I always put it like this: we see people usually on what could be the worst day of their life. We try to make that just a little bit better. Sometimes we have wins. A lot of times we do have losses, and it takes a toll on people. It's not easy to do, but together as an organization, we make sure that we get through it and talk it through and make sure that everybody gets through it and handles it in a way that, long lasting effects out there.
Right. You take care of your folks. So I think there's, we see the TV shows, we see the movies about firefighters, and, you always see the worst of the worst things happening. But walk us through the kind of training you have to go through, because we've had conversation about this, and I'm just blown away about the training and all of the things you need to keep up with, especially with technology and everything changing the way it is.
Training starts with we refer to it as it's a nationwide standard, which is called the Firefighter 1 standard, and that is your basic firefighters equipment, as far as that basic training, getting you up to speed for the essentials of the job. That is a 220-hour course, usually held spring and summer. It's every other weekend, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and then probably one night a week for 4 to 5 months, depending on that. And once you have those basic skills, we hone in on some specialties and some certain items with the Firefighter 2 course, which is the recognized minimum standard in the state of Connecticut for firefighters. This standard is the same as a professional firefighter would be. It's the same course that's taught. And then we can go into a host of specialties, things that may, specific disciplines, such as, rescue courses, EMS courses. EMS is a big part of emergency medical service, is a big part of our responses. We are the first responders for Middlefield. We show up when people call. We're usually the first ones there. We don't transport people to the hospital. We have a private ambulance service that does that, but we are the initial contacts,
right?
Whatever that may be, for the first whatever it is until an ambulance arrives and we get the patient packaged and they go off to the hospital or from there and receive advanced care.
And Pete, are there annual certifications or courses that you have to go through, or semi-annual, or
most of the courses, the EMS side of it, there's continuing education that we have to, because we are licensed by the state of Connecticut, and each individual holds a license with the state of Connecticut Department of Health to practice, which is much like a doctor, same kind of deal, lesser extent, but we have to do a certain amount of courses. The fire end, we train every Monday night. We hold the training event. We had a drill last night to hone our skills, to practice what we do. It varies from week to week. We try to hit mandatory subjects every year. There is some mandatory training that we have to take and certifications that we have to maintain. So it is an all-in sort of job as far as that goes. It's not one and done. And we continue to learn new things, new techniques every day. And when you're done learning, then that's probably the day you should leave, quite honestly, because there's always something coming out that is new.
And we are honored that you have a fund here that you set up for the future, for things that might not, that you don't even know exist now in terms of equipment or training, etc. So in all of the years that you've been there, are there highlights of the transition periods to where the department is now, where the field is now?
Absolutely. I think it's very, at one time, it was a good old boys network, fun place to go on Monday nights, maybe have a few, something to drink and talk about things and solve the world's problems. That kind of went away totally. It's no longer that. It's a very disciplined organization that, standards are kept, agendas. We have to keep up on what we do in our training and make sure that we are ready to respond to whatever the case may be. We never know when we're going to be called or what we're going to be called for. The fire company is usually called when people don't know who to call. It's, good and bad. Sometimes we go out for things, but again, it comes down to that philosophy that we try to make somebody's bad day a little better.
Pete, I have to say that that's the nicest thing anybody could say. I'm trying to make somebody's bad day a good day. So I'm sure it's tough every once in a while when you get a call that really is real. You say the question, really? But I bet you're there to make a bad day into a good day.
It's, we see stuff that you don't want to see. You see stuff that you don't forget because you're a human being. Sometimes you have to relate to something that happened close to you in that situation. But you have to go with the philosophy or the mindset that you're going to do the best you can with what you got, and hopefully it turns out okay. There are times, and we don't expect thank yous. Okay, it's not necessary. It's not, it's not required. It's not. We don't need. We're not here for that. I don't think there's anybody here for that that's looking for recognition, and we tend to shy away from recognition. Present company, is included. We just don't want that. But every now and then you'll be someplace, and out of the blue, somebody will come up to you and say thank you, and you're probably not going to remember what, why, or where. But they'll say, thank you. You helped us on this, this, and this. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't. And I don't want to sound callous on that, but, it's one call leads to another, and you kind of don't remember, you remember certain ones, but you don't. But it is kind of nice to have that, sort of thing that, maybe you succeeded. And I think that's a driving force for a lot of us, that just, know that you've made a difference or
Right.
tried to make a difference.
Right. And Pete, I know you don't want the recognition, but I'll do a shout out to you and to all of your colleagues across the state. True fact. I am here because of folks like you. When I lived in Haddam, I unfortunately needed the services of our volunteer fire department because I was in a very bad car accident. So I am forever grateful to you and your colleagues. So just a shout out from me to you. But let's segue. And I know you don't want the recognition, but we're going to give it to you anyway. So thank you. So you do more than just contribute as a volunteer fire chief. We were honored when you participated with our Bully Free Communities campaign and our rallies for the students. You were right there every single time we reached out. And now I'm finding out, and I want to make sure I get the name right. You have your Linked Autism Safety Project. There you go, doing something good again. So tell us a little bit about that.
That project was brought forward by the Autism Link system, and it was provided this training for something that really we weren't really aware of what the needs of people with autism were, how to handle those special cases, what were their traits of, should they be, against something or what really triggers them. And we got involved with this very much so and bought into it because it is an important part because, those people, individuals are around and we will encounter them or, we have and will encounter them. Don't know when or don't know how many times, but it's important that we handle that in a way that's respectful to them as well as properly understanding what their needs are. People with autism that we they have a yellow letter which they carry in their car should we come across them, and now we know that sort of stuff, and that has gone on to other types of. I don't want to call them disabilities because it's not really a disability. Other kind of care things that they need help with. So there's a couple other ones. There's a blue letter and a green letter now. So, we're aware of that and trying to judge those, treat those people properly, respectfully, and know what some of the things that they may be seeing that we don't see every day. So it was an important project for us. We, like I said, bought into it. We actually made a sticker in recognition with the autism using our logo as with the autism signature of the link system on the back of it, and sold them, for cost, and use that money to give to the Autism Society to
nice.
kind of go forward with their project because it is an important project. We also spread that word out to other companies because word of mouth is one of the things that between fire companies that you kind of have to use because when you have something you find out, you try to spread that knowledge among everybody else so everybody gets on the same page.
And you're guilty by association. So word of mouth with your folks, if they respect what you're doing, then that's the quickest way to get something done. And I almost forgot that you participated in our program, which was a wonderful community collaboration where we got donations of used fire equipment to send to Ukraine, and you and your folks were right there. So again, our thank you for doing that. Here you are now international.
Well, public education is a huge thing for both fire prevention and awareness, getting the word out. I mean, obviously we go in October to go to every school and,
right.
And go through to the children and try to get them to know what we're coming in as, dress up as firemen, tell them what they do, show them how our equipment is, so that if in case, something did happen, they'd be aware of what they're going to kind of look for and accept. It's a known fact that especially children sometimes get in an emergency, can go and hide, which isn't good. We want them to be aware of what they're doing. And those sort of public events, we do stuff for our senior citizens, try to tell them tips and things like that. I mean, this Saturday we were having participating in a touch a truck event for
Oh
public
gosh.
safety at Lyman's down here at the orchard for the day, and hopefully we can get some word out. And these events also kind of make people aware that we are a volunteer organization. We're always looking for help. We always try to bring people in, see if they have an interest, and come down and talk to us, and maybe we'll get some of the people to buy into what we do.
Well, yeah, honestly, we will, after people see this, I know that they will never take for granted what a volunteer fire company does. And where I live, we have one too, and we're right around the corner from them, and we do not take them for granted. So thank you for all you do. Is there a fun fact or a great story that where you really made a difference, made somebody's day, better in a fun way that you could share? And I'm thinking of the kitten in the tree, or chasing a bear out of a tree, that kind of thing.
Well, you just quite never know what to expect, and I
Okay.
don't, I thought about it, and I don't really have a specific one that you could you know set aside. Sometimes people do things that they shouldn't do,
And we don't
and
want to make fun.
we don't want to make fun of them. But sometimes you have to ask them, say, and you thought this was going to work out well because and you don't want to put it in, and most of the time it will get a laugh out of people, get them to smile and say, yeah, this is kind of dumb, I shouldn't have done this, I thought this was going to do that but it didn't. So there's a lot of those little things. Specifically, I don't that I have one that you know uh, there are calls that we come away with smiles and shake our heads and look at everybody and say, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that, or maybe you should have thought a little differently. But overall, you just quite never know what's going to happen. And like I say, people's good ideas, as well intentioned as they are, sometimes go bad,
Well,
no matter what happens.
I'm a great believer that human nature comes in all the time, and people really are good and they don't mean to do anything bad generally. So, you know,
I can't, people apologize when we show up. I'm sorry to call you. And I'm like, why are you sorry? We're here to help you, or they'll say, this something's been bothering me for 3 days and I couldn't do it. Now I just can't. It's okay. We're there to help you. It is great when we show up and we don't have to do anything. It's okay. That's a fine thing. It's easily solved problems are not a thing that we have to worry about. It's the hard ones we worry about
right,
that take a lot of
right.
time
And
and
it's
effort.
and it's hard on your team, and I'm so glad, and I know that you do this, that you really do take care of your team because there have to be really tough days. Listening to you, Pete, I thought I knew it all, but now I'm just envisioning you and your team as this big bear hug around all of Middlefield with helmets on, coming to help out.
Well, I don't know if it's a bear hug. It should be taken that it is something that's available. It's something that we want to do, and we want to help people in our community and adjoining communities. We go to a lot of different places and help different fire departments out because it's gotten too big where we can't do it alone, and we need
Hmm.
extra help. So we have a very great relationship with both professional and volunteer companies to help out, and they in turn help us out. We never know the day of what's going to happen or what's going to be needed, and that's kind of one of the big things that you know I always say everything we do here, all the equipment we buy, the training we do, everything is on the what if principle. We don't know
Hmm.
when we're going to need it. We don't know if we're going to need it. But we have to be prepared because when people call us, they expect that we are going to resolve their problem. And that's what we hope to try to do.
Well, Pete, before we wrap up, and this has been, I'm just going to summarize what I took away from this, but one of my last two questions, and I have two other questions, one of which is, think about this, is there something I should have asked that I didn't ask? But I'm going to summarize what I'm taking away from this. You love what you do. You really make a difference in Middlefield and beyond. You have such respect for the people that you not only work with, but the people that you help. And that your motto, really, if it's not tattooed someplace or not emblazoned on your blazers, should be making a bad day a better one, a good day. So that's my takeaway. So thank you for that.
Well, we appreciate your kind words always. The volunteer fire service comprises of almost 80% of the fire service in this country. So it's not just us.
Yep.
And there are thousands of these that, in Connecticut, there's 369 volunteer fire companies that
Wow.
do the same thing we do. We're not doing anything differently. We're all pretty much on the same page. What drives us? Well, I don't know if I could put my finger on just that. It's something that you have to want to do. It's something you're usually all in on, not partially, not halfway. We try to, like I say, make everybody's bad day maybe a little better. Sometimes we succeed at that. Sometimes we may not. And, it's difficult as far as that goes as to what happens. And, the things we see, it's stuff you can't forget. So it's very important that we take that into consideration and we
Right.
kind of watch out for our own people. On a great note that we're talking about, we are under a major renovation and addition project for our firehouse that is dated for 90 years old. We
Wow.
are putting a major expansion on through for training facilities, meeting rooms, apparatus bays, equipment storage, proper decontamination of ourselves and our equipment. Cancer is one of the biggest worries of the fire service now that it wasn't several years ago.
Huh.
Cancer is a big, I call it a big deal. And the way, in the past 5 years, the way we can decontaminate ourselves as well as our equipment and to keep everybody healthy is one of the biggest concerns that I have now.
Wow.
It is my number one priority right now. Through the support of our townspeople who funded this project and supported it in a 3-to-1 margin, they felt it was important for us to do this, and we thank them for that. Obviously, giving us the tools to do our job and also make it safe for people to volunteer here. There's nothing worse than I think than saying your job is going to give you cancer. Whatever we can do. So whatever we need to do and whatever we're going to do, I mean, it's our number one priority, and we're going to do that to keep people safe.
Well, thank you
I
for
always,
caring.
I always just tell people, the way you walk in the door is the way you're going to walk out of the
That
door.
is so true. That is so true. And just case in point, getting the approval for the construction just proves that you gave and they're now giving back. So thank you for sharing that about the construction.
We have tremendous support from our community, and which is a good thing, a good thing. And also our elected officials support us 100%. They ask the tough questions, the whys and the how comes, and if we need it. But when we justify it, there's never usually a problem. Um, there's always something new in the fire service that you need and can't afford. The foundation hopefully is going to help us get those eventually and get down through that and provide that sort of backing. We were very fortunate to get involved with the foundation because we had somebody local in town that was a member that said, hey, maybe you should think about this, and did a tremendous amount of work to get us up and running as that for the foundation. And we look forward to it. We're eager, because the benefits will be down the road, obviously.
Always planning, always, Pete, thank you. This has been really like, it's so good to see you, number one, because I haven't seen you in a while. But now when you do the ribbon cutting for the new construction, I hope you'll invite the foundation folks.
You're on the top of the list as always. You're always invited. You never need an invitation here. You know that.
gosh, after this construction, in the next month or so, what are you looking forward to?
Well, trying to get through this construction, it's difficult as any renovation project. Anybody knows how they even do it's a disruption in the way you normally do business. We're making it work. We're doing the best we can. We have probably almost a year to go on before it's finally completed. Every day is a challenge. Every day something new comes up. Every day there's unforeseen things that we try to accomplish. Much like everybody who does any kind of project, there's always the unknowns. We've been very fortunate to have a very good company building the building, as well as a very good building committee with a lot of expertise on it that can mitigate a lot of these little issues that we would normally not be able to handle.
Well, Pete, you have put them Meaningful Monday today for all of us. So I so appreciate your time. And I thank you for all the great things that you're doing for not only Middlefield, but throughout everywhere in Connecticut and beyond.
Well, we appreciate always talking to you. You're always a ray of sunshine for us. Always have something positive to say, which is very good for us.
Well, we try. But thanks so much, Pete.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountycf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together we can make great things happen.